Can you use the names of notorious criminals in your content? Welcome to another episode of Legit Podcast Pro, where I share tips, strategies, and information to help creative folks like you make your content have your impact and achieve influence so you don't have to worry about the legal stuff. Welcome to Legit Podcast Pro. I'm your host, Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer, and we've got a quick episode for you this week. I'm actually pre-recording this because as this goes live, I'm speaking at Podcast Movement Evolutions in Las Vegas. But before I do that, I want to invite you to come to my workshop. It's called Business and Legal Fundamentals for Podcast Growth and Profit. I only do this workshop a few times each year, and it's coming up soon. I don't think you want to miss it if you are serious about podcasting and about doing it the smart, safe, profitable way. So join me for the next workshop coming up very soon. Register now at event.podcastlaw.net. And let's get into today's topic. This one in particular will be of interest to you true crime folks out there. It's an interesting question from one of my email subscribers, Jason. He wrote in with this one. I had a quick question about using the exact names of infamous criminals in a semi-fictional movie or podcast or episode. It's like the portrayal of Hitler in the movie Jojo Rabbit, for example. Does this fall under fair use, like for the name, image, or likeness? And are the writers, actors allowed to portray these individuals as characters in the show? This is a great question. Now, first, let me start with the fair use thing. That term, fair use, is an expression that actually deals specifically with copyright infringement. And we're not talking about a copyright situation here. We're talking about some different rights that I'll get into in just a second. So fair use isn't the right term. But generally speaking, a person doesn't have any right to protect against non-commercial uses of their name or of being depicted or portrayed in a play or a film or a podcast episode or what have you, as long as it's truthful and doesn't reveal private information. Now, there are certain privacy and publicity rights that do prohibit using a person's name, but that mainly is in the commercial sphere, like as the title of the film or play or what have you, or in ads or something like that. But in the storytelling, as long as the portrayals and statements about them are either truthful, obviously fictional, so people don't think it's fact, or jokes or opinion, then claims of defamation are unlikely to succeed. And when you're dealing with public figures like notorious criminals, well, they'd have an even harder time winning because they'd have to prove actual malice. That is, that you knew or should have known the material was false when you published it. Again, and it was factual in tone. Now, ultimately, here in the US, the First Amendment's guarantees of free speech and press are pretty powerful medicine. So there's usually not too much to worry about. But these things can be pretty fact specific. So don't rely on this video, this audio, without consulting a lawyer to actually review your specific project. It shouldn't take long and it shouldn't cost much, but you need to do this to be sure. Now, if you'd like me to answer your question on a future episode, please head on over to firemark.com/questions and submit it there. Or just drop your question in the comments. I'll see it and I'll get to it. So thanks again for listening. I'm Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer, and I'll talk to you again real soon.